right, coming up, we're examining the dark world of cyber attacks. You don't want to miss it. More Wake Up with Cheddar coming up next. Welcome back to Wake Up with Cheddar. Ransomware hackers over the weekend compromised software provider Kaseya. It's being called the single largest global ransomware attack on record. The hackers say that they compromised over 1 million computers and demanded over $70 million in ransom. President Biden says the full forces of the federal government are investigating, but it comes amid a worrisome trend in cyber attacks that have compromised businesses, government data, and utilities around the world. Joining us now is Shannon Wilkinson, a cybersecurity expert and the CEO of Tego Cyber. Shannon, really great to have you on this morning. Kaseya says about 1,500 businesses, mostly small and medium-sized, have been compromised. So how large in scope is this attack?
It's probably one of the largest ransomware attacks that we've ever seen around the world, maybe just about 1,500 businesses, but really that equates about 1 million computers worldwide. If you think back to 2017, a while ago, the WannaCry attack, that infected about 200,000. So the scope of this cyber attack is much larger. And it's also knocked off essential services, perhaps not in the U.S., but it's hit services across 17 different countries. So about 800 grocery stores were knocked offline in Sweden because of this ransomware attack. Schools in New Zealand were forced offline. So while it may have hit a lot of small businesses within the U.S., the impacts are definitely being felt around the world.
A lot of experts thinking that this is backed by Russia, or at least hackers based in Russia. What do you know about who's behind it?
So it has been attributed to the ReEvil ransomware group. ReEvil's been around since about 2019. And we see actually they may have tried an attack like this. If you remember back in 2019, there was the ransomware attack against the state of Texas. That was also the ReEvil ransomware group where they infiltrated another IT services vendor for the state of Texas and got about, I think, 15 to 20 different state agencies across the state of Texas. So that may have been a trial run for this attack.
It was just a couple of weeks ago that President Biden met with President Putin and basically said there are certain areas that are absolutely off limits when it comes to these cyber attacks. How vulnerable is the U.S.? And as we think this was certainly bad, this cyber attack, but you think about our power lines and things like that. So how vulnerable is our infrastructure?
Critical infrastructure is definitely a major concern. Overshadowed by this ransomware attack is that there was actually a ransomware attack on a utility. It didn't knock the power offline, but it did knock the power provider's ability to send out bills, to see their customer statuses, for customers to get some level of support. So when it comes to critical infrastructure, we see that these ransomware attacks can have an impact. And if you look a while back in the country of Ukraine, you'll actually see that the power grid was knocked offline and power services were disrupted in the Ukraine over the holidays for the past several years.
Tell us a bit about your company, Tego Cyber, what you guys do and how you help prevent these types of hacks.
So Tego Cyber is a threat intelligence company, and essentially what we do is, as much as we'd like to prevent these types of attacks from happening, these things do happen. So the next important step after prevention is detection and incident response. So when these things do occur, you're able to quickly get your security operations team notified about threats that are occurring, and that's where Tego sits. We're a threat intelligence platform. We integrate into existing cybersecurity tools to serve up information. But another important thing is not just Tego and these emerging technologies and threat intelligence, but there was an actual ransomware, not prevention, but recovery tool packaged with Kaseya called New Shield. And a lot of businesses were not installing this because it was a cost-saving measure. New Shield only costs about $30 per computer per year. So providers really need to try to convince their customers about getting these new technologies to prevent perhaps not these attacks from happening, but the damage occurred by these attacks, because things like New Shield allow companies to easily recover from these type of attacks should they occur.
We know that in many cases, these hackers are looking for Bitcoin or other types of crypto payments. Do you expect that the government is going to crack down on crypto? And how does just the rise of crypto factor in here?
Definitely. I know there's a lot more scrutiny on cryptocurrencies and the idea that cryptocurrency is fueling the ransomware attacks. But you might be surprised to find out that ransomware has actually existed since the 1980s, before cryptocurrency existed. And it started off with a big old floppy disk that got sent in the mail, and you were asked to send a money order to a P.O. box in Panama. So even without cryptocurrency, we probably will see these type of attacks. Even I believe an official from CISA said, even if we got rid of cryptocurrency completely, these type of attacks will still occur. We are getting better at tracking cryptocurrency payments, so that's one of the ways that we were able to recover some of the monies that were paid out in some of these large ransomware attacks recently.
That is so interesting. So cryptocurrency around even before Elon Musk started tweeting about it. Thank you so much, Shannon Wilkinson, cybersecurity expert and CEO of Tego Cyber. Appreciate it.